Was AEW Maximum Carnage better than Raw this week? Let's break it down. What's going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing good, and welcome back to the Pembo Show. The majority of my 30 plus years being a wrestling fan, has been watching Raw and SmackDown and WWE, and mostly WWE, to be honest. A little bit of TNA in its heyday, and some WCW when I was younger. For the older fans, will remember that. For the better part of the 30 years, I've been an avid WWE fan, really, watching WWE. Yeah, AEW. When it came into the scene, I watched a little bit of it. Highlights here and there, you understand what's going on, that type of thing. I call myself a casual fan, really. I wouldn't follow it on a week-to-week basis where I'm watching every minute of each of the weekly shows and pay-per-views. My weekly wrestling content, basically, that I consume just consists of Raw, SmackDown and the WWE PLEs. But more recently, I've been looking at AEW, and I started with World's End. I watched the full pay-per-view and loved it. And then this week, I thought, I'll watch Raw on Monday, the full show. I'll watch Dynamite, Maximum Carnage, the full show. And I'll compare the two. I'll give my thoughts, see what I think. This is coming from a lifetime WWE fan. So the first thing I noticed, the first real thing that popped at me as soon as the show opens was AEW just felt alive. It just gave me this raw electric energy. It just felt alive. And we know Raw often opens, and I think SmackDown does it with the shots of superstars arriving to the arena, and sometimes it just takes ages to get through them. And then sometimes Raw will open or SmackDown with a boring long promo. Was it Rhea Ripley and Io Sky doing a promo? And it was a lethargic start, wasn't it, to the show? It really was. It just started really slow. You want to give the fans something to, open the show on a high note, really. And this was AEW Maximum Carnage that I watched. I caught up with it last night. I know it aired on Wednesday, didn't it? It opens, no nonsense, Darby Allin versus Pac. Boom, straight in to high energy action. And I absolutely love that. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. Really good, high energy opening. It just got straight into it, no nonsense. Just got down to business. And the match itself, Darby Allin versus Pac, was absolutely brilliant. I loved it. I was hooked. From bell to bell. It was brilliant. If you haven't seen it, guys, I highly recommend going to watch it. Go back and watch it. I know most of you AEW hardcore fans will have already seen it already. And for you guys, you AEW hardcore fans out there, I do apologize if I do make some mistakes. I'm not really up on every little detail of the stories in AEW. As I said, I'm just starting to bring it into my weekly routine of wrestling content now because it's been a breath of fresh air to me, to be honest. I've absolutely loved watching it. I don't know why I didn't watch it, consistently sooner. So yeah, again, I do apologize if I make any errors, but I will be watching more AEW and I will be more up to date on the storylines. I've always got a rough idea of what's going on, but yeah, it was fantastic. Darby Allin versus Pac, what a match. The punishment that Darby Allin can take is, it's incredible, really, the bumps he takes. And guys, talking about bumps, that belly to belly onto the ring steps, that Pac hit him with was absolutely insane. The sound of it, honestly, it was amazing. I had to rewind and watch it a couple of times. The placement, the positioning that he got him into that belly to belly on before executing onto the ring steps was phenomenal. The positioning just perfect. I think Darby Allin's head just cleared that bottom step, didn't it? But God, what a bump that was. Absolutely insane. And that's what it's all about, and it just felt raw. And that's the irony in it as well, really, isn't it? That for me, AEW Dynamite felt more raw than WWE Raw. If that makes sense to any of you. It's like, WWE has a more polished production, doesn't it? If I can call it that. It's more polished, isn't it? It's more cleaner. It's advertiser friendly. It's got sponsors everywhere, and AEW just feels alive, doesn't it? It just feels raw, like more real, if I'm being honest, and less scripted. And I know that's going to sound absolutely crazy because wrestling is scripted, and unless that's because I'm fairly new coming over to it, watching it like full time. I love the arena. I absolutely love the arena as well. Brilliant. And it just reminds me of WCW, back when I was younger, and TNA when it was at its height, with Kurt Angle was there and AJ Styles and everything else. So it just gives off this great energy and it hooks me straight away. But that match, Darby Allin versus Pac, was absolutely brilliant. Darby Allin picked up the win. with submission with the Scorpion Deathlock. The punishment, the bumps he takes is fantastic. And Pac's German suplexes, his release on him was impeccable. You know, especially sending Allin into the turnbuckles without any head or neck bumps sometimes as well. Brilliant match. So it'd be interesting. Has Darby Allin put the Death Riders behind him now with that victory? And yeah, it was quite a convincing win, wasn't it, with the tap out there? So that should put Pac behind him now and he should move on. That is the way to open a show. High energy, great action, great bumps. I was hooked straight away and I was ready then for the rest of the show. The big return of Kenny Omega. He's back. He wants to put himself in the title picture. Be very interesting. I think he was saying he wants to, he's got to win a couple of wrestling matches first. And then the mean Don Callis arrived, didn't he, to challenge Omega to fight Josh Alexander. Omega wanted it on the night. I think the fans, you could hear in the crowd, they wanted it on the night as well. And I certainly did. But you know what Callis says goes. And he said it'll be next week on Dynamite. So yeah, that should be a really good match. And you'd expect Kenny Omega, wouldn't you, to win that, returning and trying to get himself into the title picture. And then on to the main event of the evening. Absolutely fantastic. MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, defends his AEW Men's World Championship against Bandido. And Bandido, he's the Ring of Honor World Champion, isn't he? He looked absolutely fantastic on his entrance. Brilliant outfit he's wearing. Yeah, love the mask. It was a brilliant match. The two men, they've got great chemistry. It could be explored more in the future. But on to the results. Bandido, towards the end of the match, he hits 21 plex, but you know, he was very slow getting onto the cover for MJF, and MJF ultimately kicked out, locked in a label lock. Good news is Bandido didn't tap out, he just passed out from it. So I don't know what you call that. Is that a technical knockout? Yeah. So MJF retains. Absolutely fantastic match. And Bandido didn't lose anything really in the loss. You know, didn't hurt him too much at all. Protected him a bit with him not tapping out at least. WWE, you could learn something from that. Yeah. Anyway, so towards the end of the match, it was brilliant. This back and forth, roll up after roll up after roll up. It was really entertaining. And the ref did really well to keep up with that, to be honest. Even I was losing count watching it. And there was an incredible spot as well. There were several good spots in this match. But there's an incredible spot with Bandido jumping off the top rope over the barricade. You know, I think it was a crossbody splash he was hitting onto MJF. The distance he covered was insane. Yeah, guys, if you haven't seen this match, go back and watch it. Fantastic. But that spot from Bandido, absolutely brilliant. Fantastic match. Brilliant main event. Really enjoyed it. And I recommend going and watching every minute of that match. Fantastic. You know, and afterwards, MJF got the mic and he put over Bandido, you know, as a future AEW World Champion. But then he switched back to his heel ways, didn't he, quickly saying that's why he needs to hurt him more, and went to attack him after the match. Brody King made the save as MJF was trying to rip his mask off. You know, it was as good as it gets for a TV main event. You know, you can't ask for any more for that. MJF and Bandido are electric throughout. Setting standards, you know, they're setting the standards for AEW's match of the year so far. That's the standard to beat, I reckon. Everyone will be looking to surpass that now, I think. And the only way really for MJF to surpass that was with more dramatic stakes. I mean, the action was great, but the result did feel inevitable, didn't it? We knew MJF wasn't going to lose on his first defense of the AEW World title. Fantastic. And with the definitive loss with the, you know, say it wasn't a tap out, but with the technical knockout or the pass out, whatever you want to call it, that made it clear that Bandido's not coming back around to challenge MJF any time soon. That looks to be, doesn't it, with more between Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page. So yeah, the overall show, it did deliver from an in-ring point of view. It relied on its main event, didn't it, AEW, to sell the importance of Maximum Carnage, you know, the theme, and it delivered. You know, Bandido and MJF delivered on the promise of that moment, you know, competing at very high levels for a fantastic showcase of talent there. AEW can have on its roster for more than a decade to come, really. And the rest of the show, you know, it didn't slouch and it delivered results, you know, it set standards for come, and the in-ring action was fantastic, you know, it really was. Obviously, apart from that squash match with Brody King, you know, that was, yeah, I mean, what was the point in that, really? Apart from just to get the big man on TV. But yeah, the rest of it was fantastic. Everyone was on point throughout the night, you know, and great to see Kenny Omega back. Darby Allin put Pac behind him, you know, so we'll see. I mean, could we see Darby Allin as added as a future challenger for MJF's title? Who knows? Overall, fantastic show. And the burning question, was it better than Raw this week? Yes, for me. I enjoyed it more than Raw. Raw on Monday, you know, it sort of lagged and dragged in places, and you know what it's like in this generation now. You're watching something, you start reaching for your phone, picking up your phone, scrolling. You're not really paying attention. But with this show, I was a lot more invested in this than Raw. And so there's some good points on Raw. You know, you might have seen in one of my previous episodes on the channel where I covered Raw. You know, it was decent. It wasn't a bad show. It just felt very long and dragged in places. I think WWE like to drag things out a little bit, but AEW, no nonsense, down to action straight away. And for me this week, I thought it was a better show. Me personally, as a wrestling fan watching it, overall experience, I enjoyed this week's AEW Dynamite better. But I'll hand it over to you guys. What show, if you've watched both, what did you prefer this week? Which show did you enjoy the most? And you enjoy both the same, you know? I'm open for anyone. I encourage people to disagree with me, not for the sake of it, but obviously if you disagree, you know, I love to talk wrestling and I love to have a chat, and I'm very approachable and I'm easy on if people disagree with me, because like I said, I'm unscripted. I come on this mic and I just talk. So, you know, I do make mistakes sometimes with the odd contradiction, but I'm passionate about wrestling, as you can tell. As a fan, I love it and I love to interact with you all. So yeah, get in the comments. Let me know what you think. Yeah, and if you're feeling very generous, extra generous today, or in a good mood because it's Friday, hit that subscribe button. It's totally free, because I'd love to have you on board and having some chats with you in the comments and build the community together. So yeah, hit that subscribe button. It makes me very happy. Appreciate all of you. And if you don't subscribe and you're just watching this, you hit a like, you drop a comment, or you just watch a few minutes of it and enjoy it, I still appreciate you, every single one of you. You guys take care, and I'll catch you again on another video. Bye-bye.